fresh out of therapy, I'm feeling okay. So I said, I'm going to do a podcast. But then I thought, but it's fucking 10 o'clock in the morning. What crazy, deluded, mental motherfucker is going to want to do a podcast at 10 o'clock in the morning? And then I thought, I know just the guy.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Mike. This is Ego and Vice, and this is episode 33. Fucking 33. That's pretty cool. I always fucking marvel at the fucking number, I guess. I can't wait till I say 133. Fuck. I'll be dead before then. Like I said, this is an early morning podcast, so instead of having the beers, just sipping a coffee. And this episode, I'm very, very honored to have someone who I call a friend and someone who I look up to and someone I've learned a lot from in a short amount of time about how to balance life and responsibilities. And, we all get up there, you know what I mean? We when we're kids, we go crazy and we do fucking stupid things. And, we do that when we're adults too. In this crazy, crazy life, especially in this crazy game we call rock and roll, or show business. In the show business, let's call it that. Let's not call it that. What a fucking stupid thing to say. But this guy is a legend in the Ottawa music scene, and his band is legendary. This episode, I had a conversation with Mr. Andy Vandal, the lead singer and the mascot, as he's coined himself, of the local band, the Riptides. Not only a friend and a peer, but, what the fuck, also a bandmate. And I'm very proud to be able to play music with these guys. And we got lots of stuff on the go, and it's kind of a whirlwind for me. It hasn't been that long, about 4 months, but the time that I've spent with the Riptides, as you know, I've said this on the podcast before, has been a amazing experience. And I look forward to the future, and I enjoy being around these guys. And, it's good to have friends that are positive influences in your life, and he is one to me. So, yada, yada, fucking gush, gush, gush. Anyway, I'm going to play a song from the Riptides. I don't have a ton to talk about because Andy says it all, and he literally says it all. Sorry, bud. But it was rad. I'm going to play a song from the Riptides, and coming out of that on the other side, I'm going to have my interview with Mr. Andy Vandal. This is the Riptides. This is a song called Happy Ever After.
Secret talks and midnight walks, we'd wish upon a star. Hanging hopes on broken dreams didn't get us very far. So lock me in the dungeon now and throw away the key. Happy trails and sunset rides ain't in the cards for me. There'll be no happy ever after, no fairy tales for me. There'll be no happy ever after, no magic fantasy. There'll be no happy ever after you. There'll be no happy ever after you. I'd like to turn back time
Hey, what's going on? We're back. This is episode 33 of Ego and Vice. As I said in the intro, I have the legendary, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andy Vandal in Southwood Studio. What's going on, Andy?
Hey, not much. Enjoying this beautiful morning.
Yeah, it is a beautiful morning, and I'm going to stress that this is a very rare AM podcast, because these are usually done maybe in the evening. But, we figured, what the hell?
Yeah, you know what? Being a dad, dads are up at the crack of dawn, and, we're sitting here sipping coffee. Kids are already dropped off at school, and I'm feeling very comfy on your beautiful couch here.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy, and I'm glad it's morning. And coffee's a little different than sitting here with a Area 613 Riptides beer, just getting asked and forgetting what the fuck I'm talking about. So this might actually be the first coherent podcast I've ever done. So cool. So the Riptides. The Riptides. People know the Riptides. I said in the intro, gave some history of it, but let's talk about the early days of the Riptides. How did the band start? Were you in bands before the Riptides?
Yeah, and actually, so me and I have a twin brother, Bob Goblin. He and I, we started. Well, me, Bob, and Doug Vermin. We all met in high school band, and we all went to Laurentian High School in the west end of Ottawa. And, I played clarinet, and Bob played baritone, and Doug was on trumpet, I think. And
it was like the horn section.
Yeah.
Or the woodwinds or whatever.
I was on woodwinds because I had braces.
Oh, shit.
I originally started on saxophone. This is a really off to a boring start for you. But we were in high school band, and we loved it. We fucking rocked it. We did everything in high school. We did everything from band nerds, like, band geek shit, to we played sports, we played football and basketball, and we were part of everything. We just loved loved going through the hoops. Anyways, so we met there, and then basically we actually dabbled around. By our senior year, we kind of dabbled around with like little shitty demos on stuff, and just fucking around. We had like a little 4-track, and Doug would come over to our place, and we just fuck around with stuff, but nothing really too serious.
Was it always punk rock even when you were a kid playing the clarinet? Like, did you grow up listening to that and you just gravitated towards it? It was
punk was always not always part of it. So I guess I can say yes, because like the record for me and my brother growing up, like we're talking when we were like 5 years old, we were jumping around. Like the glue of our childhood was a specific record. It was Beach Boys' Endless Summer.
Okay.
And I don't believe that was on vinyl. My parents had Beach Boys' Endless Summer and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. All this coffee. Right. Anyways, those two records were like so. We were jumping around on couches, singing along to Surfing USA. Endless Summer, I think, is a compilation. Actually, it's not like a studio album, but it's a compilation of their best of. But to us, it was like the holy grail of music. So the reason why I say yes, punk always has been, was as soon as we discovered the Ramones, I was in high school. Like Guns N' Roses, like Appetite for Destruction. That was another one that was like huge in the 80s for me. Beach Boys, Sgt. Pepper, Appetite. Those would be like my, and the Golden Oldies tapes that you get at gas stations.
Sure. The K-Tel.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, shit. And Stand By Me soundtrack, all that stuff. All that stuff that we would have tapes, and Weird Al Yankovic, too. We had the Weird Al tapes. So I remember going on this cross-country trip with my mom. It was my mom and my brothers in the back of this 77 Chrysler, this big whale of a boat. We went from Ottawa to Victoria. We just played those tapes nonstop. And it's just like that's just, we grew up just singing the Golden Oldies, the Beach Boys. But then early 90s, I think it was when I went to Sam the Record Man in
Toronto?
In the mall. No, there was one in Ottawa.
Oh, there was. Okay.
Yeah, there was a Sam the Record Man in Carlingwood Mall. And I remember, I think I was going to buy like my Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 tapes, or maybe back then I was like, did I have enough money to spend $40 on a CD?
Right.
But in the discount bin, I'm not kidding, out front of the store, I'll never forget it, there was this bin of discount 99-cent tapes. And I pulled out this tape, and it was black and white. And these guys looked like these, cavemen. And it was the Ramones, self-titled. And I think it was 99 cents, and I'm in grade 9. I have no money. So I bought it and put that in the tape player. And that's where it connected for me, because I was like, that's Beach Boys. Like, they were playing Beach Boys, 3-chord, melodic, just catchy shit. And they just turned it up a notch in terms of the drumming, the tempo, the attitude, the way that the downstroking. It was just like, it blew my fucking mind.
Yep.
I wasn't ever exclusive to punk rock growing up. High school, big things. I mean, don't get me wrong. All the Lookout Records stuff. As soon as Green Day broke, right? Dookie comes out. It made me go down this rabbit hole. I'm like, where'd they come from? So it makes you discover, like, Screeching Weasel, Mr. T Experience, Queers, all the bands, Op Ivy, all that shit coming out at a Lookout. But at that same time, I still loved, like, I'll never forget, one of my favorite records of all time was, I think it was 95, was the Blue Album by Weezer.
Yeah.
I just the Blue Album and Pinkerton were like just...
Pinkerton's an absolute classic for me. I think it's better than the Blue Album. And it was like, I remember when Pinkerton came out, and they just, like, critics and whatever just bashed it because it wasn't Buddy Holly.
Yep.
And I think Rolling Stone at the time gave it like 1 star out of 5.
Are you serious?
And then, like, 20 years later, as it grew as this legendary, fantastic record, Rolling Stone reviewed it again and gave it 5 out of 5.
Oh, trying to right the wrong.
Right, yeah. But there's nothing like that time when you're a kid. And you can discover bands now, and it's just like, oh, these guys are pretty cool. But there's that era when you're a kid and you start discovering music, like you said, when you go down the rabbit hole and you start Operation Ivy and Green Day and stuff, and just discovering this music. It was just like, it was such an amazing thing, and it changes your life. It changes your perspective on music and what you want to do.
Yep.
And
it's magical.
But it's just a certain chunk of your life that when you first started discovering music, because it made you kind of who you are, what you want to do. And nowadays you can do it, but it's just not the same as that magical little bubble of time.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah. For sure. I totally agree, because you would almost set up camps. There'd be like camps of people that I remember in high school. There was kind of like this. We're walking around repping, like, wearing like Rage Against the Machine t-shirts, because that first record, that self-titled Rage record, is like, it's a phenomenon. It was a game changer. It was crazy. And look at me, I don't play any of that type of music. I would be going around, I'd be listening to Beach Boys, Ramones, Rage Against the Machine, Weezer, fucking even Pearl Jam, and NWA and Public Enemy. Like, I just loved, basically what binded me to all the bands that I've kind of referenced here was they kind of challenged things. They kind of I appreciated any type of music that was a little bit counterculture, that kind of didn't go the mainstream and just kind of wanted to maybe challenge you for a second and make you go, oh shit, you can do that in a song, or you can actually say something like that in a song. Like how punk rock was NWA and Public Enemy.
No, but it was in that same kind of dangerous space. You know what I mean? It's just like, this isn't fucking, what I hear on the radio. This is mine. This is. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of. It's funny that the bands that you reference is we've kind of come down the same road when it comes to like early, because we're kind of the same age, and yeah, I remember those times, and I remember listening to like Straight Outta Compton when it came out on the cassette, and a buddy would be like, you got to listen to this, and just because you heard it and it was just so left, it was so out there, it was just like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
And I'm not even a big fan of like rap and stuff like that, but that record was something else. When I was a kid, and I understand what you're saying too, it's like in the late 80s I was listening to like Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, like just really stuff like Def Leppard, and then a friend of mine dropped Bad Religion, No Control, a tape. Didn't even have a cover. It was like just a cassette, and I borrowed it off him. Yeah, never looked back. Yeah, when it came to stuff like that, and it was just like that cassette. I wore it out, and it changed my life, and it and then I went down that rabbit hole, like you said, and
you land on bands like of the Fat Era, like the early like Bad Religion and No Effects, and like that shit. Liza and Louise, I remember being at a party first hearing that, and like Fat Mike singing about stuff, you're like, holy shit, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
And it was funny because again, when you're going down that rabbit hole, it just leads you to other generations that followed Black Flag, Misfits, Minor Threat. Minor Threat, I mean, come on. Like, I went down, like, there was so much going on in different eras. Like, you had, like, the Ramones, Clash, Sex Pistols stuff, but you had, like, the underground. You had the SST stuff. You had the West Coast stuff, the Seattle stuff, the hardcore of, like, 79, 80. And then you got DOA on the West Coast. Like, the when you explore, and what is revealed to you at the same time, it's that, like you said, nothing captures the excitement as when you're young doing that.
Yeah.
You just, because like you said, it kind of forms, it's kind of your identity.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back to something.
Sure.
For those of you listeners who have stuck around after this quite a yawn of Andy talking about how much he loves old shitty music. When you're talking about the start of the band, 15 minutes later, now we're going back to the start of the Riptides.
That's great, man.
So we fucked around with Doug, and yeah, we're just buddies. Doug, he was a skateboarder, and we all just did our shit. So we were like 17, 18, and we all graduated Laurentian High School, and Bobby and I got together with Johnny Arnold. He went by Johnny Dangerously. Steve Ransom. He didn't even need a handle. He just had the best last name. That was for
That's
real.
his real name?
Real name. Steve Ransom. He was on guitar. Johnny Dangerously on drums. James Starnes, buddy of mine. We called him Latchkey Boy. He's
Always Home Alone or what?
I don't know. I don't even know how he got that one. Usually I name everybody. I named Bob Goblin just because it sounded cool. I was originally going to call myself Andy Magnum, but I don't know. Andy Vandal just kind of sounded, it rolled off the tongue a little bit.
Yeah, it flows.
Doug Vermin, I named Dougie Doug Vermin. But anyway, Doug wasn't part of that original. I don't think, because we had Steve on guitar, Johnny on drums, Bob on bass, me on vocals, and James Starnes was Latchkey Boy. He was just like singing with me. He did a lot of good harmonies and shit. So we did a band called Super Lou. And that's we did that actually for like, I think we were like 18, 19, and it was kind of punk. Like we were rude. We did a cover of Screeching Weasel on our one and only record. We did a cover of an Anthem for a New Tomorrow. And then we kind of did a cover of a cover, which was kind of weird, but we were young and dumb. It was a cover of I Don't Want to Grow Up, which Ramones covered of Tom Waits.
Tom Waits, yeah.
So,
great song.
Yeah, it's a great song. And I guess because we were 18, it's kind of weird doing a cover of a cover, but after the fact, whatever. And yeah, we did the record called Super Lou, Having a Ball. And I guess timing-wise, I think tomorrow is that big royal wedding, so it's good timing to see this. Oh, by the way, is everyone excited? Who's going to walk Megan down the aisle? I don't care. All that royal bullshit. Anyways, good for them, but I can't go anywhere. I'm inundated radio, TV. Oh, what's she wearing? Oh, what? Who's gonna? Oh, I don't care. The oogling of celebrity in today's world. Everyone just shut up.
It's always been there. It's always gonna be there. It's like the fucking keeping up with the Kardashian bullshit, and people just fucking love that shit.
Oh my God.
I need to know what's happening. TMZ, that kind of crap. It's just like I don't get it. And it's just like fuck these people.
I know. I try to tune out as much. The one thing I am obsessed with right now is oh man, I'm not going to make this a Trump show, but I am actually just obsessed with the reality TV show of the president's office there. But I'm gonna pull back and go back.
Yeah,
and
let's talk about the Riptides.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and say why I brought up the royal wedding.
Okay.
The cover of the Super Lou record was it was called Having a Ball, and it's Prince Charles, and he's playing polo, but it's this famous shot of him with his hand down his pants, just grabbing his balls and shit. So it was just funny. Anyways, that was a record. We did that for a year. We played a bunch of shows. Like we had a good summer playing a bunch of gigs, and that was it. We after Super Lou, that's when Dougie joined up with us, and Sean Shameless met up with us, and I think Johnny and Steve, to this day, wicked dudes, keep in touch. But yeah, they were just doing their own thing. They were like, yeah, I'm gonna go up north or whatever. Tim Fader was another guitarist. I forgot about Tim. Tim Fader went up north, so he had to leave. So that was kind of where we're like, oh, okay,
mix it up.
Yeah, mix it up. So then Dougie, Shameless, Bob, and I were the four that got together in '98, and started jamming in '98 to release our first record, "I'm in Love with a Hair Lip Retard." That was a tape only release we did. I think we released it that was '98. "I'm in Love with a Hair Lip Retard." It was '98.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people know how we got the name.
The Riptides?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to someone last summer on an interview, but it was actually the first time I think someone asked. So now I'm just gonna tell you. We're movie geeks, we're nerds, like comic books, baseball, hockey, and movies and music and shit. So this is kind of an obscure reference. Martin Scorsese produced a film in the 90s called Grace of My Heart. And actually this ties back to my whole Beach Boys reference thing.
Okay.
Grace of My Heart, starring Ileana Douglas and what's his name? Oh my God, Matt. Fucking Outsiders.
Matt Damon?
No,
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah, Matt Dillon.
Do for Johnny. We're doing for Johnny.
Yeah. How do I remember an obscure actress's name? Ileana Douglas.
Yeah, right.
And
Can't remember Matt
Dillon. Anyways, Matt Dillon actually played in that movie kind of like basically the movie's based on the Beach Boys. And Matt Dillon plays like a Brian Wilson kind of like seclusive. And it's
gotcha.
And the band, instead of calling themselves the Beach Boys for like legal reasons, the band in that movie is called the Riptides.
Oh shit! Well, there it is.
That's it.
That's cool.
If anyone gives a shit about that.
No, I'm interesting. It's like I've known you guys for a while, and I've kind of known not that much about the history and stuff. So if no one finds this interesting, I fucking do, and it's my show, so fuck off.
No one beyond you, I think, gives a shit.
Oh, I don't think that's true. So you guys became the Riptides, officially became the Riptides, and then you started to, I don't know, I guess you already did it with Super Lou. You recorded a record, started playing shows, you just kept going?
Yeah, we were motivated probably in the early days just to play a show with the Queers.
Okay.
We, not a local, but a band from sort of coincidentally from Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Barracudas. They made it big in the UK, but Jeremy Gluck, the lead singer, was from Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
And it was too late to play with them because they disbanded about 20 years before we started.
Oh, that's
kind of hard.
Bit of a gap, yeah.
But we got a 7-inch of the Barracudas, and we were like, these guys are from Ottawa, or the singers are originally from us. We can fucking do it too. Do what? I don't know. Play a show with the Queers. So I think in the early days, our motivation, our motivation and our scope and our drive and our everything has always been very tiny and limited and small. We never had any intention of wanting to ever like do anything beyond opening for the Queers. So that was I think kind of our drive. We played shows. Queers Don't Back Down. Yeah, Don't Back Down was probably one of the best punk records ever released in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, way up there on a pedestal for us just to like, even meet Joe Queer. So 98, 99, we put out our first non-tape release, and that was called Going Down Syndrome. All this stuff these days, people would just fucking burn us.
Well, it's there in the ether, and it's history, so
it's there.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I don't apologize for anything we've ever really written or recorded or album titles. I don't give a shit. You got to own it.
Well, yeah, for sure. Like the album titles or the tape titles and the songs and stuff like that. Were you out just to kind of like, yeah, let's just offend people?
Yeah.
Or was it just like, we're just doing this because this is our fucking goofy sense of humor?
Yeah.
We think it's funny. You know,
Yeah. We were wink, tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Kind of like what people don't get about a lot, like Meat Men, the Meat Men from the early 80s, you know, take the piss out of people.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Just push. Just push a little, but still have fun doing it. And just see where it goes, yeah.
Wink. And you know, so kind of that translated into how we did shows. You know, go over the top, but sometimes just do it all for fun. Just fucking make, if you're throwing down $5 to go out and have a beer and watch a band, well, fucking let's have some fun.
In Goat, my band, we have a lot of songs that made us laugh, but they never left the jam spot. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
It was just like that. We'll laugh, and it's like that is the fucking worst song in the world. Not because it was a bad song, but it was like that is the worst song in the world. And it's never left the basement. You guys have pushed the line when it comes to certain things, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever have one of those things that was just so bad that you and Bob like looked at each other and went, "No, we can't do this one," you know, something like that?
Yeah, I'd honestly say anything that pushed the boundaries usually made it to a record.
Yeah, you just said fuck it.
We said fuck it.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
if you look back in the early days, most of it does. You know, some of those song titles, it really, you know, it wears it on its sleeve.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we would always have like the quality control of the four of us, and you had a guy like Sean Shameless in the band. You know, he was shameless. He's like, fuck it, guys. Fucking let's get in people's faces. And for better or worse, you know, it got people, our name out there. People like, you know, we either shocked and appalled or liked it, or basically if we just wanted you to get in on the joke.
Yeah.
Because people, I think satire is lost on a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Colberts of the world, you know. I think ours had a lot of that. I think ours had a lot of tongue-in-cheek shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether we talked about, you know, junkies or my girlfriend's fucking ugly, or, you know, you know, it's not like my girlfriend then, you know, heard that record and got offended.
And she got it, right?
You know, just if you get it, you do. If you don't, you don't.
Well, you can't, you know, and that's when you write stuff like that, you go into it not really caring. It's like some people might get the shit.
Yep.
Some people don't, but who cares?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
We're gonna do it. We're just gonna do what we do.
Exactly.
And I respect that. A lot of respect for that. And
yeah, we've always written for ourselves. I don't think that's ever changed. We're our own sort of worst critics. Like, we just want to record stuff. I'm actually like, we're all super proud of everything I think we've ever done, and we make no apologies for anything we've done. And we don't like. That's why kind of like there hasn't been that much of an evolution. We haven't really, like, we take different chances and try different things, but not out of the box too much.
well, internally for you, I guess, you know how like you can't watch yourself kind of get older, you know, but if you don't see someone for 10 years and you run into them, you're like, fuck, you got old. You know what I mean? I can hear an evolution in between like the four records for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I can see where it started from the first one, Dropout.
Yep.
I guess full record, to Canadian Graffiti, and it's still you guys.
Yep.
But you can tell that you've lived lives and things change and stuff like that. It's still it's the same band, but yeah, there's an evolution there for sure.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we when you bring up Dropout, yeah, that was so after we did those first three records, it was those first three that are long gone, Going Down Syndrome, California Reman, and Appetite for what would we call it? Appetite for Rejection. Those became sort of Dropout became sort of a best of.
Okay.
So and we really could have just quit after that record, because quite honestly, when it comes to like sort of where my heart belongs in terms of like where our accomplishments were met, was Bolt Hit, our current drummer. Bolt Hit was a fan in the early days, and he was actually roadieing for the Queers, and I had never met Joe. He was just like a god legend who I'd never probably ever talked to. But Bolt Hit came through Ottawa with the Queers, and that's when he introduced me to Joe, and he was playing at Oliver's. He was playing on campus at Carleton, and with the Independents were opening for them. And I met him. I was like so fucking nervous. I was like, oh my God, like guy had been listening to Don't Back Down for, probably about 5 or 6 years.
Well, you know, that was your kind of goal for the band, and then you're standing in front of the man, right? So
Yeah, and to me that was like, now granted at that time we weren't playing that show. I was just there as a fan. We're just watching them play. But what happened then was Joe took those, Bulltit hooked up Joe with those 3 records, those 3 early ones, and it was, so he was on tour in like September when kids were back to school, and it was like. No, I'm wrong. It was actually in the spring. I think it was spring, summer, because I'll tell you why I'm wrong. He gets those records, and it was later on that summer, early fall. He's like, "Hey, Andy." We get an email. Back then, like, you don't really communicate by email. So anyways, you get an email, and he's like, "Andy, I heard the records. I really want to see if you guys want to work with me, and like, if you wanted to like maybe get them all, take the best of, and I could produce a record for you guys." And I was just like, that was the email. That was like, oh my fucking God. Joe Queer wants to work with us on something. And so that's why I was wrong about dates, because it was October of 2001, I think. It was that Halloween. That Halloween, we were down in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, with Jim Tierney as the engineer at the Electric Cave, with Joe Queer. We're down there, and it was like that to me. I could have just quit music after that. That was like, I look back on that, and it was just like, I'm in fucking heaven. Yeah. I can't believe I'm even. And so, yeah, I'm a fanboy first, but we walked away from that recording session with 21 songs on that recording or something like that. But like, Joe Queer sang on a song of ours. We covered, actually, I go back to the Barracudas again. We covered, the last song on that record is a tribute to the Barracudas. We covered Surfers Are Back. Okay. And Joe Queer sang that. And then fucking, he tells us after we recorded, he's like, hey, we didn't meet him when we were there that first time, but he's like, hey, Wimpy would love to do Creature That Ate My Brain, do the song, to cover that. And fucking Wimpy, original Queer singer. Yep. So we get this recording back, and we got Joe Queer and Wimpy on our record. That's it. I was done. And so then through Joe's hookups, that's where he was able to get it he got it mixed and mastered at Sonic Iguana. And that was the first kind of like, oh my God, this is going to Master Genie? Yeah. And I was like, oh my, I don't think we ever even talked to Mass at that time. Joe kind of worked all that out. But I was like, this is in the hands of the guy that friggin' produced Don't Back Down. I was just fanboy heaven. And we got that record back. And I'd say, I think maybe it was like that spring, or no, it was the following winter. We're on like a tour touring the States with the Queers and the Methadones. And in 2002, I could have just packed it in. Yeah.
You accomplished everything you set out to do. They say don't meet your heroes, but do it if they're Joe Queer.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Let's play something off that record, off of Dropout. What would you like to hear?
Oh my God. What is even on that record? Now, you know what you should do? The Wimpy track with Wimpy singing Creature That Ate My Brain.
Creature That Ate My Brain. Yeah. All right. Off of Dropout, this is the Riptides. This is the Creature That Ate My Brain.
I can believe that I'm not dead! Shit breathes right out of my head! I know it's just a fucking fighters around. Fighters on medium, back in the town. People disappearing without a trace. All I know is that it keeps them out of street. There will be creature that ate my brain. Will be creature that ate my brain. Will be creature that ate my brain. Will be creature that ate my brain.
So yeah, you just kept going.
Yeah, probably dumb to do. But anyways, no. After Dropout came out, I think the next thing we followed up with was a split with the Vapids from Hamilton, and that was really cool too. My favorite part about that was we were on tour with the Dwarves in Canada. It was around 2003, and we had a studio at that time. We had a recording studio called the Shooting Gallery down in.
Like you ran a recording studio? Like you opened it and
we
ran
also ran a label.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, we back in the day, Bob Goblin had Goblin Records.
Fuck, I know.
And we released a bunch of stuff actually. Bob Goblin did. We did 2 compilations called "Kick 'Em While They're Down" volumes 1 and 2, and we had bands like Moral Crux, Dwarves, Queers, lots of local, Uninspired Empire. Oh my God. The Creeps, the Muggins, Skank Tanks, Oxymorons, maybe. It was just like a bunch. We just got everyone, all our friends, anyone we knew around the country, or anyone could be on it. And we just put them out for nothing.
Yeah.
And then we actually released splits with local bands. We put out Uninspired Empire's record. We put out a 3-way split with the Jollies, the PG-13s, and one more, and I forget the third band. It was Bob's label. I don't have to remember everything.
No.
That's his thing. But we recorded most of them at the Shooting Gallery, which was in the depot off Rideau, going up the hill. So we ran that for a couple years. That was fun, but we realized we couldn't. The band was kind of getting a little bit more and more exposure, and more requests to head out on the road and do some touring, and we wanted to do some. During the label side of things, the band had to take a backseat to a lot of stuff, and we kind of went, let's just shift.
You want to get back to the
yeah. So I think really Goblin kind of went on a hiatus the minute we started moving into doing the studio records down in Lafayette with Master Genie. Okay. I'd say by 2007. That's when we recorded Hangout, and that was the one we did. So yeah, I'd say Goblin Records went from probably 2002 to 2007, 6 or 7, and then we kind of focused on the Hangout record. That was the one that kind of really a lot of people got exposed to Riptides.
Hangout's my favorite Riptides record, and I find it, I don't know, where were you guys when you guys were kind of writing that one? Because I find it stands alone a little bit, some of that stuff. It it does sound like songs like Detention, that's very Riptides. It's very Your Sound. But then there's songs like Red Dawn that just fucking punch you in the face out of nowhere. It's where did that come from?
Yeah.
What was going on around that time?
Red Dawn is one, I think it's one of the only songs that I kind of came up with myself. I kind of pitched it to the band during our demoing, and I was like, that was me really. That was an outlet for my anger. That's that, you're mid 20s and you're fucking mad at everything. And it's funny. It was all Bush, fucking George W. Era fucking politics, and Lord knows what we had yet to come, right? But at that time, I just wanted one that was just an outlet for me just being pissed off with a lot of shit. Yeah, Bob Goblin would be throwing. He came up with basically the whole blueprint to. He comes up with the blueprints to all our records, and how much involvement the rest of us have is our own choice. But I'm heavily involved. But Bob comes up with a ample amount of the melodies, and I help a lot with structure, lyrics. So the blueprint for Hangout, going back to that record, Bob Goblin would do it, and then I had a lot of the writing, a lot of the songwriting in that. But where were we coming from with Hangout? I don't know, man. I guess maybe the overall vibe, maybe that record's a little angrier than some of the stuff.
Yeah, and you can hear it. You know what I mean? It's just got, it's edgier. How about that? Like it's
Yeah.
edgier than some of the other stuff, and you can hear it right through it too, even in the songs that are a little more like the Riptides, you know what I mean, where it's, I don't know, you can still hear there's a little something, there's a little sauce on them. You know?
Yeah. I think maybe just that era we were in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, young in your 20s. You know, like I think that song translates to how those sets were back then.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty, not rough, but you know, yeah, definitely rough around the edges.
Yeah. I think second records are the one you have to kind of like. If you look at any band, you know, say that you have the first record, and that's where you kind of start, and people hear you for this first time, and say you get some sort of a following behind you, and then people are waiting for the next release. So you have to kind of, second records are an important record.
Yeah.
And like I said, Hangouts out of the another question too. It's just like, you guys have been together for 20 years. 20 years. It's impressively fucking mental, but only 4 records.
Yeah.
In the total. What do you guys do in the meantime? Is it just tons of touring and tons of stuff, or you just take your time, or it just happens when it happens type of stuff?
Yeah, not a lot happens. We don't tour a lot. We don't play shows a lot. The big gap, we consistently over the years would like, let me start with what we do in a year. Not a lot because of work and with kids and everything. Every year we'd want to maybe head out for a tour, maybe do a couple weeks there, a couple shows here or there.
Mm-hmm.
But to really answer your question, the gap there, 4 records in 20 years or whatever. We had a lot of splits and stuff along the way too.
Yeah.
We had a instrumental release. We had splits with the Queers, splits with the Dwarves, splits with the Connection
Mm-hmm.
from Portsmouth. But there's life happens, right? And so I think what happened was the gap between 2010 and 2018, sort of like the 8-year gap between records,
Yeah.
that's really about life happening. And so we've gone through what everyone goes through as when you become adults and you grow. There's birth, and there's death, and there's everything in between. So,
Gotcha.
you know, when there's things like starting families, starting new jobs, and there's been times where we had to turn down tours because there's grief in the family. You're dealing with loss, and we've had a lot of close loved ones leaving us over the years, and it hits you hard, and that's when bands have to take a back seat and you become like family, and you always say to each other, cool, man, we're all taking a break, we're all just pausing it out, and let's just focus on family, friends, and work and shit. So honestly, between 2010 and 2018, a lot of great stuff, a lot of bad stuff, but we've all been close friends through it all. And that's when you don't really feel inspired to write songs.
Gotcha.
You're dealing with shit. To answer your question about the records and how do they write themselves, we never force ourselves to say, okay, we're at the 2-year mark, we need to have a new record, or we need to have a new item out. We were always like, a record's going to be ready when it's going to be ready.
Yeah.
If you force the songs, they're going to sound forced.
Yeah.
What Canadian Graffiti wasn't us coming out of the woods, coming out of the darkness of family and loss, and it wasn't us saying, now we've emerged, let's write this new. No, it was actually the opposite. I'd say most of the songs on Canadian Graffiti had been cobbled together and been on our minds for years. It's just that we never had the time to really say, now's the time to do it. It was always one thing or another would come up, and we just have to say, let's maybe think about it next year, or think about the year after. It just wasn't a priority in the last couple of years to be doing recording, doing band stuff, or even shows. It was like that era for us to just do stuff. But I honestly say I showed it. I texted an image to Doug and Bob last fall about it. But we have this piece of paper that we had in the van from our tour that we did in 2010 with the Queers and Kepi Gooley. And literally, so 8 years ago, there was like so many of the song titles that are on the record now were on that sheet that we that was kicking around in the van. So 8 years later, those songs were still like the song titles. And sometimes music writing for us starts with a song title.
Right.
If you have a catchy title, you're like, oh, like I think this title, Wimpy Goes to Washington, I think that came first. And we're like, great song title, gotta be on the next record. Now let's write a song around it.
Write the song around it. Yeah, absolutely. We're not getting out of this podcast without playing Red Dawn because I love that song. And since we jumped ahead a little bit, but off of, is that cool?
No, you're gonna have to talk to legal about getting it cleared. No, fuck yeah, it's all good.
Off of the Riptides record Hangout, this is Red Dawn. So then there was another record, which was called Tales from Planet Earth.
Tales.
And was coming out of Hangout, and I know it was some years later.
Yep.
But again, because you guys are, like, I see the evolution of things. Well, as a fan.
Yep.
Which I've always been. And Tales from Planet Earth was very different from, the vibe of it was still you guys, but it was very different from Hangout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get that. And I see that. I think vocally there's a big leap or step back, depending on that. I think that album, I think people either like loved it or they fucking hated it. I don't think there was anyone in the middle going like, yeah, it's what they do. It's cool, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's, everyone can have an opinion whether they love it or hate it. We were happy with it. We were totally happy with doing it, and we're proud of everything we do. There's no regrets on any angle we took on a record, and we didn't go into that recording session to want to like try anything different. What's funny was we went in to do Tales, and it was when we learned down in the studio. You know, we knew Dougie for fucking, at that time, including high school, we knew him for like 20 years. All of a sudden, this guy starts singing like a fucking angel. He's like doing like these octaves that were like up in like choir boy, you know, falsetto. I don't know. And it was down in that studio, and that's when Mass is a big vocal guy. And the engineer was Phil Hill with Teen Idols. Yeah. And Phil Hill, I mean, come on, listen to a Teen Idols record. They have like perfect vocals. So what happened then was the songs then said, it kind of dictated like, let's use this guy, let's get some harmonies going. And unlike Hang Out, where it was just one of those raw, you know, just my throat was really bleeding after Hang Out, this was a record where we said, well, let's just not push Andy as much, kind of take more of a little bit of a maybe more of a controlled, contained take on it, so you can allow for like those harmonies to really hit and be melodic. And we went with that. And you know, some of those songs really to this day I'm really proud of, and they sound really great. And a lot of people hold that record up too as like, you know, when Canadian Graffiti came out, it was funny. There was reviews where they're like, you know, it's, you know, Canadian Graffiti's good songs, but you know, in how I hold up Tales as being like the pinnacle for like Riptide songs. So there are some people that really, you know, really love Tales, and we're really proud of that. But yeah.
Well, it's a great record. It really is a great record.
Thanks, man.
And like, you know, I'm biased because I like all your stuff. I'm a fan anyway. But yeah, it's just cool. It's weird weird evolutions of bands, and we get to see or listen to the evolution of bands by what they release, right? And you kind of follow that journey with them, and it's just like, this was this was this, and this was that, and you I don't know.
I think Tales was. It's funny. Tales is a lot of. It's probably the most like story oriented of the songs. There's, you know, spy songs, and there was like Dial M for Murder about Mike Myers, and there was like, you know, 2-minute penalty. It's like hockey analogy with Love Torn and all that shit. Yeah. They all had kind of like themes, like topical themes to them, like whether it be, you know, so it has its own place, like, you know, in terms of what we did.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you want to play something off it?
Sure. What do you want to listen to off that?
Well, there's a song on that record that is in the set list now. She Gets Around?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah. One of the faster ones. Yeah.
Cool, man. Let's do that one.
Awesome. Hit
All
her
right.
up.
Off of Tales from Planet Earth, this is the Riptides. This is She Gets Around.
Everybody's got a different take. Why the girl ain't right? With a low esteem and shattered dreams, she's on the town tonight. She'll try it once, she'll try it twice, she'll do it all again. There is no more of the girl next door that we knew way back then.
Okay, so we're getting more into present day now, and you had touched on Canadian Graffiti, which is the latest record that came out.
It is.
But there was that 8-year gap where life happened.
Yep.
Good stuff, bad stuff. It wasn't planned to take that long. Was there ever a time? Maybe not. Yeah, maybe in that 8-year gap, was there ever a time when you guys just you looked in and just said, you know what, maybe it's time to just shut her down?
No.
No, it's always a constant. Eh?
It's always because it's always part of us. Not like the need to perform on stage, but it's the songwriting. It's the love of creating music.
Yeah.
That'll never go away. So we never talked about packing anything in because we're always thinking about new things we want to sing about or new melodies. So it was always gonna happen, but just when.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that for sure. It's because I always said, whether I'm in a band or not, I'm never gonna just not pick up my acoustic guitar and just play stuff. But it's natural for me to write a song sitting in front of the TV. I'll have my guitar on my lap and I'll just luckily I have an outlet like Goat or whatever to fucking do that, right?
Fuck yeah.
And my drummer in Goat, his name's Mike. I've known that guy for 25 years. I've only had 2 drummers in my entire life. One of them was another friend of mine, but Mikey Knox has been the drummer forever. And it's like, maybe it's like you and your brother, Bob.
Yep.
It's like you guys will probably just keep doing it forever as long as you have each other and you guys want to do it. And I feel like that's with me and Mike too, you know what I mean? It's like we've been doing this for 25 fucking years. Why stop now? Let's just fucking do it. And it's so ingrained in our everyday thing, right?
You just gotta love the bromance, eh?
Yeah, right. But he's just like he's a great guy, and he has no cell phone. He doesn't use social media. He still calls like on payphones,
Yeah.
And all he wants to fucking do is play drums. That's all he wants to do in his life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's irreplaceable dude. You know what I mean? And it's cool. And all I want to do is like great songs, and I'm north of 40, so it's like getting up there. It's like I don't care. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, it's always part of you, right? And it's like doing what we do as a hobby. Because that's what it's almost like telling the dude who loves to go out fucking snowmobiling every winter, like, no, you're not. Just you're at a certain age, you just have to stop.
Right.
Well, no, that's what I like to do. I like to go out in the woods and fucking drive around, or the woman who loves to just do her own fucking bake sales or cookie. It's something that you like to do. So fucking do it as long as you want.
I don't know what my life would be like if there wasn't some sort of music in it. You know what I mean? Like these headphones that I have on now. I wake up in the morning and I put my headphones on. I just listen to music all day. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things. And I can't imagine not being able to I can't imagine not sitting down and writing something or creating something. You know what I mean? It's
an outlet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of who I am, and so I totally get that. How
And I love the like when I said, like, people might be listening like, oh, Andy, you just said like Bob does most of the writing. It's like, well, and I'm gonna say yes, that's true, and I do help him out a lot. So what's my release? What's my creative flow? But it's also when it's also a release for you, when you play that live show, when you like perform. I get a lot out of that. That's really where I get off. And it's funny because I was just saying to someone at work recently, this spring, oh man, it's been really stressful. Work stress, right? You're just kind of like, you have shitty days, you have shitty weeks. But I've been looking forward. Like, we're playing a show at Pooza like tomorrow. And it's one of those things I'm so pumped about. Like, I'm so energized for, because you need that release. You need instead of me going to shoot some heroin or to go home and beat my wife, which I've disclaimer,
which you've never done nor will.
The people that don't know how to handle whatever stress you have in your life.
Yeah.
These are positive outlets. And going and fucking getting into a fucking sweaty pit with a bunch of punks and just getting that release is so good. And that's mine. Like, that's my release.
It's a drug, yeah. That's
your drug. And that guy who wants to, he's had a shitty work week and he's like, I'm gonna fucking get on my snowmobile. How Canadian is this podcast? I'm gonna get on my snowmobile.
My sled.
Yeah, my sled. And he's gonna tear it up for an afternoon, maybe shoot something in the wood. Fucking go do it. If that's what is your release, and you're not like hurting or if you're not doing anything bad to the world, then fucking go do it.
Yeah.
So that's mine, and that's why. So just going back to like, why are you still doing it now? It's just like anyone else having that release, having that hobby, having that outlet to flow that energy through and release that stress.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with it. And there's nothing. I love looking forward to having a show coming up. Or there's nothing like, and people who've never experienced it, like you said, jumping in the pit and sweating and banging off people and shit like that. Yeah. There's nothing like the feeling of like show day.
Oh,
where you wake up and it's just like you're like, all right, I got a show tonight. You know what I mean? And then you get to you get there and you get to the club and you're just walking around and you're just socially different because you're playing later. And you're not just there to see a band.
Yep.
So and then you get on stage and it's just like, bah,
Yeah.
It's just like it's an amazing thing, and I thrive off it and I crave it and stuff. And I have some friends who I won't name that have they're good. They're with what they do, and then they live their lives and and. I have one friend that says, when are you going to fucking stop that shit? Like, why don't you fucking, Yeah. He's a good dude, but he just doesn't get it, right? And I'm like, never. And he's,
Yeah.
So it's like, sorry, man. Like,
oh, I think the people that ever want to try to put put an expiry date on whatever you're into, whether it be sewing or stand-up comedy, or the people that project that on you are projecting their own insecurities, projecting their own fears. And you just take that and just don't absorb it. And because that's them, that's on them. That's something that's bothering them. It's not bothering you because you're saying, fuck it, I'm up here and I'm having fun.
Yeah, and then they say like, so he's still in that band?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of shit?
Oh, yeah. Hey, and they almost talk like it's this, hey, are you still doing that?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing? It's that passive aggressive. That's their own projection of their own insecurities and their own miserable life. So,
or if you like tell someone you're in a band, hey, like, what do you do? Oh, I'm in a band. Oh, cool. What kind of music? And you go, punk rock, and they're like, oh,
I'll just move along then.
Like,
yeah,
fuck off.
Oh, I wear that like a badge. I say, fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna be 41 next week, and I'm still in a juvenile punk rock band.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Here's a question: do you consider yourself a musician?
No.
Or are you a dude in a band?
Dude in a band.
I've been playing guitar and shit for 25 years, and when people come up and to say, what do you do? I always tell them my job. I've never said, yeah, I'm a musician.
No,
because I'm not a musician.
No,
I'm a dude in a band who likes to fucking play punk rock music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
we've always been that, and there people might sometimes people think like, oh my God, you've been in this, and you've been in, like, there was this video game you were in, and there was this movie you guys had the song in, and all this. Make no mistake, in 20 years, we haven't made shit. Like, it's not like we make enough to support the breathability. Like, the band makes enough to fund a tour. Like, so we're not out of our own pocket, with money. And yeah, we'll get like, a check here or there for maybe a royalty for this or a licensing thing for that. But it's not like we're like, yo, dudes, making it rain. You're all getting like, fucking 20 G's each. Go buy a new car. It's always something where you get enough to say, okay, cool. This can go in the band account, and we can have enough now to maybe record a record or put it into new merch or just get some cool shit done or funding a tour. It's so that when you're in that position, you're not a full-time artist. You're not a full-time musician. Yeah. No, our fucking day jobs pay the bills.
Always. It's always been that way.
It's always and it's great that we have day jobs that can actually let us have some cool vacation leave that can be paid, and that's fine. I love working day jobs, and I'm not, the people that there's always that. The other thing you get from the other side of the fence. So you got the work people who go, oh, you're in a band. Is that still a thing? Punk. Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys are okay. Good luck with that. But then you've got the other side of the fence where we'll also take shit from not really lately, but back in the day, maybe back in the Hangout record era, 2007, there was like more back then where people were offended. Like punks were like, you guys fucking work day jobs, man. Why don't you guys fucking, hit the road and just live on the road and do all that? And oh my God, like it was so contradictory to like, we're getting pulled in both ways where it was like people thought we weren't, not people. I'm talking about a minority. But they're like, you guys still work day jobs. We tour like a couple times a year. You're
The funny thing about people like that is like the bands they probably listen to, and it doesn't matter if you're signed to like Fat Records or Epitaph Records. I guarantee that the bands that those kids listen to or those people listen to, those guys have day jobs too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, unless you're like fucking, like nobody survives 100%. Well, some people do. Like, but of just being in a band, especially if you're like a punk band in this genre and stuff like that. If you're fucking Guns N' Roses, fine.
Yeah.
But there's so many different tiers and so many different levels, and it's just like,
yeah. And now that music is free, you don't make money anymore.
I haven't literally have not made a dime in 25 years, but that's not why I do it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And if you do it for that, and this is the age-old thing, then you're going to be sorely fucking disappointed. Yeah. Plus, you're in it for the wrong reason. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You don't. Well, you hope that you start a band or something like that, and you have this promise of like fame and success and girls and money and all that bullshit, but it doesn't happen. No. You do it because you love it, and regardless of. You have to find that place in your mind. And if you get to a place where you haven't made a dime and you haven't met any girls and you haven't done this, but you're happy and you've accomplished a lot, that's the success right there.
Well, exactly. The bands that started with the number one agenda of we need to get to a certain spot, and the bands that measured themselves the whole way are the bands that aren't around anymore. Yeah. They're the ones that didn't start with the heart first and started with the ones that started because I love hanging out with my brother and my best friends, and we love to just fucking make stupid music. If it didn't start there and it was, guys, we all need to get like these sideways haircuts and we all need to wear all like the same striped, and then the image will then sell it, and then we got to meet with A&R, and then we got to get this going so we get to that level. Well, you know what? They're not around anymore because they didn't like playing the shows. They didn't like writing the music. No. They wanted to just have the image, the money, the fame. Well, no, they're not around anymore because now you look at, we started 20 years ago. There was a big evolution in that time, and it was music became free for everyone. Art became free. You can get books for free, movies for free. Everything's free now. Yeah. So the only thing that leaves the people in the game to still do what they do is their passion for it.
That's it.
And that's why we're doing it. The only money we make is when we get out there, and it's almost like cool because now you're getting rewarded for playing shows because it doesn't matter what your sales are. Now you get out, you play live shows, and that's where you sell some merch at a show. They get you guarantee your door money. You get out there. You're out there because you love to play live. You love to connect with people, and there's such a great feeling when you can be like, the record just came out a couple months earlier, and we were down at the Bovine, and this was in January. We're at the Bovine in January, and this is what, it sounds cheesy, but this is what it all means to me. There was this couple, and they were like front row, and it was like date night for them. Mm-hmm. He had his arms around her. He was standing behind her, and he was holding her, and they were just hugging each other. From the beginning to the end of our set, the two of them were watching us, raising their fists, and singing along to every single word. And they were the biggest smiles on their face. They were so happy. Yeah, and that whole time, we talked about it on the ride back, went, man, we just made their night. They had a fucking great night. We don't even know their names. I don't even know who they were. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think after the show, they just left. They just came in, sang along to every word. I didn't even have a chance to talk to them.
Yeah.
But that meant so much to me. I remember we were like playing Oklahoma City. Like we're like 1,000 miles away from home, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, and kids are all singing along to every word I wrote. It's just like, that's why I just love doing that. It's the way to connect
Absolutely.
with people.
You did. You touched those people in one way, and who knows what one night they're at your show and they're singing along, but who knows, a month earlier maybe their mom died and they threw on fucking Hangout or Tales from Planet Earth and it got them through shit, That's important, you know what I mean? And that's a big deal to people. So yeah, for sure, man.
Fuck yeah.
Someday I'd like people to sing along to goat songs.
They do. In fact,
yeah,
you
and fucking Jeff and Bob. No, but I appreciate that too, man.
Fuck yeah, it's
cool.
Great song.
But yeah, man, I agree with everything you said, and I do it because I love it, and I'm never gonna stop doing it as long as I'm physically fucking able to do it. And when I'm laying in a bed and I'm immobilized, I'll think about doing it and just be sad I can't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's all I've ever wanted. It's like a passion in my life, and I'll never deny it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it.
Awesome.
Cool. Canadian Graffiti. We talked about it earlier. Let's play something off that new record, which is fucking super exciting.
You know what's hilarious?
What's that?
I went off on such a tangent that I didn't even talk at all about that record.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Why don't we play a song off it,
Yeah,
and then we can talk about it.
Yeah. You pick it. Actually, you know what? We started with earlier in your show. We had Wimpy singing "Creature." Why don't we come back full circle with the song about Wimpy on the new record?
All right. This is the Riptides off the brand spanking squeaky new record called Canadian Graffiti. This is a song called "Wimpy Goes to Washington."
Wimpy! We drove out to New Hampshire to record with tyranny. Arrived at the electric gate with gin on steak and cheese. We called up our friend Wimpy to lay the vocal down, but useless just told us he's get down. Why? Because Wimpy goes to Washington. Wimpy goes to Washington. Yeah, Wimpy goes to Washington. And we don't know what Wimpy's gonna do. He's sick of all that bullshit and tired of their lies. So he grabbed all the Jameson and ammo he could find and threw it in his truck, and now he's headed for DC. We better watch the news on Channel 3. Why? Because Wimpy goes to Washington. Wimpy goes to Washington. Yeah, Wimpy goes to Washington. And we don't know. Yeah, nobody knows. Yeah, we don't know what the fuck he's gonna do.
Canadian Graffiti.
Yeah.
New record. First one in 8 years.
Yep.
Let's talk about the process. You already said that it was songs that you had kind of kicking around, and I heard you say something, and it might have been an article I read about the Riptides where you actually said that album's kind of schizophrenic because there's a little this, a little that in it. And can you explain like what's that all about?
Yeah. It's almost like we want every record to be a little schizophrenic. We almost like, we have so many influences, so many styles, ranging from, kind of the poppier like Beach Boys style to what songs like Goodbye Hawaii are like, to like, the harder stuff, like the Wimpy Goes to Washington, the Eyes Wide Shut, kind of that's a real throwback to, old Bad Religion style, with the big group backing vocals and harmonies and shit.
Yep.
We're happy when we cover all our bases. We try to have every record with a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Everything that kind of represents us, with different styles, but all kind of staying within our own kind of box, just the fast, the pop, all that shit we've been doing since 20 years ago. The title, we randomly came up with that. I texted my brother. I'm like, Canadian Graffiti. What do you think of that? He's like, that's cool. Let's do this. Yeah, the record I thought was a really good, representation of where we're at these days and covering all our bases, and super happy with it.
And you went back to Sonic Iguana to do that one?
We did. After a long time of taking a break. I think the last time we went down to Sonic was when we did those series of splits. And I think that was like a weekend in 2012. I think it was 2012 is when we went down and we recorded like, a dozen songs or something. And from those dozen songs is what became a split with the Queers, a split with the Doors, a split with the Connection, and a split with the Apers. I'm sorry, I didn't mention the Apers before. We did a song with a split with them called What About the Monster. So that was last time. So it was like a 6-year gap, and we were just like, fuck it. Let's, we feel like home, like we're at home down there. So we went down to Sonic fall of 2016, and that was like we laid down 21 or 22 songs in 7 days. I think maybe given some overdubs and like some hand clapping and snapping of the fingers, I think we went 8 days. Dan Lumley played drums. That would be like our, I don't know, 4th session with Lumley, or 4th recording session with Lumley. He knocked the drums out of the park, like, in his typical fashion, like a day. Great dude. So humble. We connect so much on like music and movies. And I remember one day we're recording shit and he comes in with a fucking box set DVD collection of The Hilarious House of Frightenstein.
Oh shit, I remember that show.
Oh dude. That opening song with oh my god, Vincent, oh my god,
Price? No.
Yes,
Vincent Price. Okay.
Jesus, here I am bragging about it. I'm such a nerd. Vincent Price, Jesus, and maybe I need another coffee. That opening fucking Moog music and Billy. I think it was Billy Zan or Billy Van. He's gone now. He's from Hamilton. Hilarious House of Frightenstein. That was filmed all in Hamilton, and that guy played all those characters. And I grew up watching Hilarious House on CHRO Channel 6. You're from Thunder Bay, so you probably didn't get that. But local cable. Hilarious House of Frightenstein is just one of the most perfect Canadiana, shows, like the Edison Twins or the what was that? The German Shepherd.
Oh, Littlest Hobo.
Littlest, maybe tomorrow you're gonna settle down.
Well, Goat covered that song.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it was good too. We played it at one show in Montreal and we never played it again.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh man, that's great.
Sarah was in the band at that time, and yeah, she did that the little part. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
there's a voice that keeps on calling me. But we punked it right up. It was like
yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, I wanted to do. The Edison Twins also lends itself so well to, no 2 days are quite the same. Life is just a learning game. And if you use your head, you'll always win. Just like the Edison.
Life with the Edison Twins.
Anyways, so Lumley comes in with that box set. And what's funny, though, is it's like those were DVDs and we had no way to even watch them.
Oh, so you just had to read the back of the box.
I just had the box. I'm like, I even went so far. We were, cooped up in a hotel. Don't get me wrong. We were like fucking 12 hours a day in Sonic. Those 7 days were just balls to the wall. Who's taking a break for lunch? Okay, go grab me something. It was like all hands on deck to do 21 songs under Mass's watch. Yeah, no, I think in the end we shaved off a couple and just kept them in the vault, which I think we're still going to be happy to share with. But yeah, I think in the end, I think every time we've gone down to Sonic, we probably have 1 or 2 more that we, and we're happy with it because you always got extra stuff, some cool recordings you can use on B-sides or splits and shit.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we went down there, Lumley killed drums, and then the typical process would be then bass over on the drums and then rhythm guitar. Leads always come after we do the vocals. Because of how I was approaching how I was going to deliver the vocals this time, where I kind of wanted a balance. I liked the aggressiveness on Hangout, and I liked the poppiness on Tails, so I kind of wanted to balance both. And to do that, Mass kind of said, okay, well, given the amount of songs you're doing, like 21 songs, let's try to do 3 or 4 every night. So most of the days, the sessions would be bass and guitars throughout the day, and then we'd break for dinner and sometimes that was good or bad, depending on. There's great food in Lafayette, and we'd always go out for Mexican or Thai, and depending on how full my gut was, I'd try to not eat that too much so I don't barf up.
Then do vocals.
Then do vocals,
Oh, fuck,
yeah.
man.
So I try to get in there and not have my ass burning from all this hot sauce.
Right.
And then, lay out a bunch, and that worked out. So by the time we hit, I think the Sunday, we were working with Greg, the engineer. Greg's a really cool dude, too. Greg Simpson, he's one of the chief reviewers, writers for Punk News.
Okay.
Awesome dude. He's in a band called Outdoor Velour, which is really cool. He's a really talented guy. Greg actually played multiple parts on the record because we hit it off with him. He's a fucking great dude, and we ended up having him do keyboards on some stuff.
Okay.
So we did a song called what's this girl? Oh my God! We did this song about like Samantha Fox. Why do I not remember my own song? He did keyboards on this.
Cool.
Fuck.
Well, you had lots of guest musicians on that record.
Yeah.
How do you bump into Biff naked in the middle of Lafayette?
Oh,
good Canadian girl.
yeah. That was funny. So the story behind what was that song called? Someone Just Like You.
Yeah.
Fuck, I sound so stupid in the morning.
It's
Okay. It was funny.
Just so you know, you sound stupid all the time.
I do.
It's not just the morning.
Yeah. Some people say hey man, are you like a surfer? Are you from California? Because sometimes, man, I kind of talk a little bit like California. Anyways, so the Biff thing, it's a funny story. So a year before we recorded that record, this local magazine, this Ottawa Life magazine, reached out to us and wanted to do an article about Punk is Dad.
That's the article I read. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And they were really cool. They did a photo shoot, and it went out in the spring, it was May. It was April. And it was funny. I went out there, and all of a sudden, I think Biff Naked commented on it and was like, "Oh, Punk is Dad. That's rad. You guys rule." And I was like, "Where's this coming from? Biff Naked? How do you even know us?" And I think I wrote to her, and I was like, "Thanks for the compliment. Man, we're fans. You're kind of a punk icon in Canada." And she was like, "No, it's the same goes both ways. I love you guys. I've been a fan of you guys for years." And I was just like, "This is a joke. Is this just are you real?" And it was just funny because it was at that time that spring, Bob had come up with this song. Him and Kurt Baker actually wrote this together. Kurt Baker is on his own, he's this wicked songwriter. Kurt was from the Leftovers, and we toured a lot with them back in the day. They were on Rally. And Kurt went off. He moved to Spain, but we've kept in close contact because he's a great songwriter. And he has the Kurt Baker combo. He's got the Bulletproof Lovers. He's just a wicked dude. And so Bob and Kurt work together on a lot of stuff. When I can't offer my 1 cent on anything, Bob works with him, and they write bridges and choruses and stuff together. Mm-hmm. So the two of them came up with this song called Someone Just Like You. And they had laid it down scratch with just, guy vocals all the way through. And it always comes my way, and I always give my 2 cents on, where can we take this? What can we do with it? Structure-wise, how things feel. And I think at the same time that Kurt had said it to Rob, I said right away when I heard it, I was like, "Oh man, this song would really be cool if it was a guy-girl thing." Yeah. Kind of playing off each other. Yep. And it was that spring, and it was funny, within that same month that this Biff thing started happening where she's reaching out saying she's a fan. I said, "Fuck it, why not? Let's try this out." I'll write her and say, "Hey Biff, we got this demo. We're going to be recording in the fall down in Lafayette. Would you have an interest maybe in fucking singing it with us?" She didn't even hear the song. She wrote back, she went, "Oh my God, I'm honored. I would love to."
Holy cow.
Yeah, and again, I couldn't believe this. And again, we're 6 months away from even recording it. Mm-hmm. So as much as I was super excited and humbled that, Biff was into it, I was still kind of like, okay, well, let's see where this goes, because you never want to put all your eggs in one basket. So
Sure.
she's like, I'll leave it with you. You guys go record it. When you're done, send it to me and we'll take it from there. And I was like, okay. So we go down and record Canadian Graffiti. And in that week, we lay down someone just like you. What I did do too, though, just as like a contingency plan, was I laid down like a guy vocal for the whole song.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I know what you mean.
Did the scratch just in case. Like, just in case maybe she heard it and went, yeah, that song sucks. I don't really like it, and I don't want to be associated with you guys. Just in case. So October is when we recorded. So Mass has all the scratch, not the final mixes, but kind of like 75% done mixes by Christmas. And it was Christmas when I took the that recording with my vocals all the way through, and I sent it to her and Snake. Snake's her husband. Yep. And he's a really accomplished musician. He performs with her. He's a great guitarist. They have their own band, Snake and the Chain, I think. And they have their own home studio. Mm-hmm. I sent it to them, and it was like within that same week around Christmas, she writes back. She's like, oh my God, I fucking love it. I can't wait to do it. Here's what we're going to do. Have Mass send me the the raw files and all that shit. And it was over to her by January. And then it was really taken off. I was like, holy shit, she's going to do this. We worked on lyrics for her. We worked on changing it around so that it had a better spin for her. Mm-hmm. And then I guess being like a consummate professional, she comes back with like a folder of like 200 takes.
What the hell?
Yeah, like 200. And I'm not talking like 200 versions of the song. Yeah. But like she took every take, because as a producer or an engineer too, when you want to like cut down and clip and get the best takes and everything.
Of course, yeah.
And double up or do anything, she just gave. And it was gold for Mass. Mass was like, oh my God, yeah, she's a professional here, because I got so much to work with here. Yep. And so then, she recorded like in a week. While she's doing it, she's like texting me pictures of her at the mic and like texting me going, and then she sent me like rough takes. How does this feel? Do you want me to do it in it? So open and so like genuine.
It's awesome.
Yeah, there's no act with her. It's like she is who she is. Just like, and all this came from a big what if. It was just like, hey, what if? May as well give it a shot, because you never know. And she totally. I'll give you another what if.
Okay.
We're flying down. We flew down that time to Lafayette. And we're on the plane. I'm sitting with my brother, and we're Comic-Con nerds, right? Mm-hmm. And we're sitting with him. And I think then we still had like the title. I think we're thinking Canadian Graffiti even before we recorded the record. But my brother turns to me. He's like, you're going to be really fucking cool, Andy. And that's what they always do with me. The band always gets Andy to like, try the what ifs. And maybe I'm a good shit talker or a good shit salesman, I don't know, but I always try the what ifs and see if they pan out. Yep. So he's sitting with me on the plane. He's like, fucking Dan Parent, Archie Comics, a what if, man, wouldn't it be fucking cool? Like, he's only done like the Ramones, or he's only done the Ramones and Kiss up until that point. What if we like fucking reached out to Dan, thought maybe he'd be like into doing like the cover for the album, right? And I'm like, yeah, right. Like okay, Rob, let's just like keep that, just tuck that one away. Let's go record this record and deal with it. So come November, he's like, hey, Andy, remember that thing I said on the plane? Maybe try it. Maybe reach out to him. I went, oh fuck, okay, just to make you happy.
Okay.
Just to make you happy, I'll send him an email. And, we had met him before. Like, Dan did, he's in Ottawa every year, or almost every year, doing Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. And he does commissions. Like, he'll do sketches for people and shit. But, it was a big ask, because now you're aligning yourself with a band like us. And are you going to take your brand and get behind us like that?
Right.
That was a big ask. But I sent the email out, and, fuck, what do you know? A week later, Dan Parent writes me back. He's like, hey, Andy, fuck yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, he's like, man, I've listened to you guys on Spotify. You guys are, I'm into what you guys are doing. I'd be super happy, super honored to like, work with you guys on something. And that's when I was like, oh shit, okay, fucking Archie Comics guy, like the writer. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and that's the cover. Like that's it's you guys in front of the Parliament buildings with that Archie graphic. You know what I mean? It's like, and I think Archie's in the crowd, isn't he? He's
Archie's there, front row, and that was like the coolest thing. He even put like Dan put like a Riverdale kind of collegiate jacket on me.
Yeah.
And I said, go all out if you want with the whole Canadiana. He got a beaver in there and a hockey player and a Mountie.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking great. Like, he just captured it exactly how it should be.
That's amazing. Yeah, like the cover is like, it stands out just by itself. You know what I mean? It's like, and you're like, what is this? Fucking Archie Comics. That's cool. You know, and that signature, even the Dan Parent signature, like, you know, you don't know it, but you look at it and you're like, I recognize that for some reason.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. So it's like so many layers to this record too, because you had like Dan Precision play on a tune from 88 Fingers Louie.
Yeah, Dan
from Rise Against. Well, early Rise Against.
The creator of Rise Against, and then kicked out by yeah. And all about his hair. Like, come on.
The
guy
wouldn't cut his hair.
The guy's
not punk enough.
He's the fucking coolest guy ever. Mm-hmm. Insanely talented, obviously. Yeah. That was another one where that was Mass. We were looking at laying down some real thrashers, right? Mm-hmm. And like, Doug's got some chops. Don't get me wrong, but a couple of those songs were like, oh man, like maybe we can just throw down someone like as a guest. And Mass went, I'm gonna reach out to Dan. Mm-hmm. They're friends, obviously, through their recording days, because some of the best Rise Against records were recorded at Sonic Iguana. Mm-hmm. And then Dan got back. He's like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And he did 4. He did Eyes Wide Shut. He did Wimpy Goes to Washington. He did I Fucked Her at Tim Hortons, which is not on the record.
I was about to say, which is not on the record.
Which is not, but it, again, one of those opportunities where we recorded it and released it as a 7-inch.
Okay.
So the 7-inch that we have out now too is the Wimpy Goes to Washington,
and the flip side is the Tim Hortons.
The B side is I Fucked Her at Tim Hortons, and I think it's cool that we put it out that way, because to make it kind of the 7-inch kind of more collectible is you cannot find I Fucked Her at Tim Hortons anywhere digitally.
Oh, okay.
You can't get that. You gotta buy the. It's only in that limited release. It's only going to be on that vinyl wax version, and you can't get it. You can't download it.
Then it's gone. Get it or don't get it.
Get it or don't get it. And I apologize. I can't remember the 4th song he did guitar on. I think it was one of the faster ones near the end, but I'd have to get back to you.
Eyes Wide Shut.
I got Eyes Wide Shut. We got. Wimpy.
Oh, did you say that? Sorry.
Eyes Wide Shut, Wimpy, and Timmy's, but I swear he did a 4th one.
Okay.
So I'd have to go back and do my own research.
Well, I remember when I was trying to figure out the Wimpy Goes to Washington part. And I was like, well, at least, you know, it's just Dan Precision. It's like, why can't I get this? Oh, yeah, right. So I play a poor man's version of that riff, but I do what I can.
You do. You pull it off well, my friend.
Thanks. Yeah, so so why don't we play another song of Canadian Graffiti? What do you think?
I'm into that. That sounds cool.
I think you chose the last one, so you might as well choose the next one too.
No, I'm going to give this to you, buddy.
Okay, let's do. We played a lot of fast stuff.
Yep.
Let's play something a little more mid-tempo. Let's play a song called "Baby Bottle."
Baby Bottle.
Yeah,
nice.
I like that too.
Cool.
Okay, off Canadian Graffiti. This is the Riptides. This is a song called "Baby Bottle."
Tell me, is it lonely way up there? designed for you. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me. Please stop your whining and please stop your crying, 'cause all of your baby talk's killing me.
So the time has come again. I like to do something on the podcast. It's called the rapid question period.
Nice.
Would you like to partake in
Let's
this?
do this.
All right.
Questions and answers, honesty lies. Yes, no, you can't, but you can and you know why.
Shit, you must be fucking, man. Like, what's he talking about?
Any questions?
Okay. This is rapid questions with Mr. Andy Vandal. You ready?
I'm good to go.
What is your biggest musical influence?
Ooh, Ramones, Beach Boys, Barracudas.
Cool. What was your favorite music as a little kid, like young kid?
I've said Beach Boys enough, but number 2 would have to be Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. Excellent. I think you answered this outside, off air. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Okay.
Just got one.
What was the first concert or show you ever saw?
Oh, Raffy,
Raffy.
if that counts.
What's your favorite movie?
Ooh, there's 3.
Okay.
I got to give you the 3. Back to the Future.
Awesome.
John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982.
Okay.
And What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Okay. Favorite book?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay. What is your favorite record?
Oh, fuck you. That's so tough.
It's a tough one.
Actually, it has to be Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses.
Awesome. It's one of my faves too. What is the first record, tape, or CD, whatever format, you ever bought with your own money?
I'll never forget that. It's exactly what I bought Appetite for Destruction and Lies by Guns N' Roses. Those were the first 2 CDs I ever bought. And it was back when they had the the big box. They came in big.
Yeah, the big cardboard box
Yeah.
wrapped in like saran wrap.
Yeah. I got that. Actually, that one was at the Sam the Record Man downtown Toronto, and they were like $25 each. I spent $50 on those 2. I'll never forget that.
Awesome. Yeah, those big long. Remember they had that so you could flip through them.
Yeah.
In the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Those
that.
were my first 2.
Okay, what is your favorite band?
Of all time?
Sure. Or today.
My favorite band of all time is, aside from the Ramones, would be the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. Okay. What would be your death row meal?
Oh, boy. Probably Baton Rouge ribs. But I have to have some shrimp in there too. There's some great Indian they serve on Meadowlands off Woodruff. But no, Baton Rouge ribs.
Okay. And what would be your death row song? last song you could ever listen to before they pulled the switch?
I'm gonna say there's two songs. They're gonna put them back to back, and it's gonna be you're gonna start with Trooper. We're here for a good time, not a long time, because there's a lot of meaning in that song. And then it's got to end with Styx, Come Sail Away.
Nice.
I'm sailing away.
What was that thing you came to band with? Sarah.
Sarah, no time is a good time for goodbye.
Nice.
I hope you guys all love that little medley I just did.
That was nice. Andy Vandal live on Eagle and Vice podcast.
Yeah.
For the good listener. Last question. What was the best day of your life?
Oh, there's been a lot of best days. I think it's gotta be the first daughter being born. That's a game changer, in terms of who you are as a person, right? When I married Taylor, my wife, I was marrying my best friend. I already been with her, I think, for like 7 or 8 years before we got married. So that was one of those things where people were like, fuck, finally, But first baby getting born, that's a real game changer. So that's probably got to be number one.
Cool. Well, thanks for participating in the rapid questions. I know some of them are silly, but it's fun.
Hey, I had a good time.
Okay, so Riptide's got some stuff coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to plug some of that?
Yeah, sure, dude. We are playing tomorrow. Today's Thursday. Yeah, we're playing tomorrow, Friday, May 18th. We're in Montreal for Pooza.
Yeah, Pooza.
Pooza's going to be fun. We're at Catacombs. We're playing at about 11:30 or whatever. And this is the debut of, drum roll.
Actually, I'll put one in there. I'll actually edit one in there.
Nice.
A nice big one.
Okay. And so after the drum roll is the Mikey Voodoo.
I heard he's a dick.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. I guess I'm Mikey Voodoo, and I'm fucking proud to be him.
Fuck, we're proud to have you, dude.
Cool, yeah. Man.
Mikey Voodoo's debut.
I know, I can't wait.
So that's going to be, that tomorrow night is going to be super fun because there's some other, there's crazy, tons of awesome bands playing Friday night, Saturday, day and night. And that night at Catacombs, we also got our buddies, the Murder Burgers. They're playing there too.
Cool.
And a bunch of other bands that I've heard of, but I haven't seen live. And I'm really excited to see them live. Mm-hmm. So we'll be hanging out all night, and we'll be hanging out, selling merch and shit and playing a fun set. Yep. We're super pumped. And then coming up after Pooza, so a month from now, we got Rip Fest. We're doing a trade-off of shows. We're going to be at Trackside with the Ripcords on, I think it's Friday, June 29th. We're in Montreal for that, and that'll be fun. And then the next night, we're playing like a secret show. When I say secret, it's like a secret location show, and that'll be Rip Fest with the Ripcords and with Warfare, who are fucking rad dudes.
Super rad dudes.
And I'm really excited for that. That'll be so much fun, especially where it's going to be is going to be fucking super rad.
Ask a punk, everybody. Ask a punk for details.
Ask a punk.
Because we're not going to fucking tell you.
Nope. So, yeah, that's the, and it's also Boltit's birthday. It's also like pre-Canada Day bash, because the next day you don't have to, most people don't have to work because it's going to be a Sunday and it's also Canada Day, so we can just fucking get drunk and light shit up, shut up. So yeah, what better way to spend a Saturday night than just Rip Fest, get sweaty, have some fun.
Super exciting. I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Tomorrow at Pooza is, I've been looking forward to it since, for the past 4 months since I've been playing with you guys. And, if I may get mushy, it's been a great experience, and getting to know you guys has been awesome. But it's also meant a lot to know that being north of 40 and being in punk rock, that you can maintain both lives. You can be home with your wife and your kids and be the dad, like the punk is dad thing. Yeah. And that's okay. You don't always have to be that lost soul playing punk rock or metal and stuff or whatever. And you can still have the band. And seeing that at the point in time where I was when I joined the band, I figured, Riptides, that'd be fucking rad. And I didn't know what to expect because I saw some old stuff and you guys were kind of dicks, jumping around and fucking what I remember. But you guys have been so fucking gracious and so welcoming and so friendly and opening my eyes to just seeing that you can balance those two things. It meant a lot to me in that sense too. So thank you very much for that. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
And man, I look forward to the future. And fuck, it's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be fucking fun, and that's all that really matters, right? Is that if you're just playing along, having fun, and not having that pressure, just it's about that balance, right?
Yeah.
It's about just don't put pressure on yourself. Have fun with your family. Have fun in your work. Have fun in your band. And it's kind of a mantra we've always tried to live by is just balance everything right. But most of all, I think the number one thing we all live by is just don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Those are words of wisdom. Thank you so much for being on Ego and Vice.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Can't wait for Pooza tomorrow. Let's tear it up.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
I couldn't care less about your band. I couldn't care less about your fans. I don't give two shits what's been spewing out of your mouth. I don't give a fuck about your problems or your woke reality. I couldn't care less what you're thinking of me. I couldn't care less about your cars. I couldn't care less about your flaws. I don't give a shit about the drama you care about. I don't give a fuck 'cause you're an asshole and you always will be. I couldn't care less what you're thinking of me. Fuck all your politics. Fuck your ugly face. Fuck all your bullshit. I'd rather hang at Lumley's place. Fuck all your trolling. I'm so over it. 'Cause the fact is I don't give a shit. I couldn't care less about who you know. I couldn't care less about the show. I don't give two shits who you're taking home tonight. I don't give a fuck about your trust fund or the pull you'll get for free. I couldn't care less what you're thinking of me. I couldn't care less what you're thinking of me. I couldn't care less what the fuck you're thinking of me.
This has been Andy Vandal from the Riptides. This has been Ego and Vice, episode 33. My name is Mike. If you want to get a hold of me, you can contact me at egoandvice@gmail.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, you can get them all for free on my website, egoandvice.com. It's available on iTunes, Podomatic, Google Play, anywhere you can search for stuff. If you want to be on the show, send me a message. If you want me to play your band's music, send me a message. Or if you want to be on the show and I'll just make a whole episode about you. This has been Ego and Vice, episode 33. We'll see you down the road.
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.